And here's another cool operational story for you. Like now they were getting their intellectual juices flowing. Keep in mind, I get punched in the head for a living, so sometimes I'm a little bit slow getting going. But to your point, everything takes batteries. And then under stress, under duress, or in a chaotic environment, what typically is the first thing that fails? Communications. So this one particular operation, our signaler, great dude, he was carrying multiple radios, heavy pack, with a little bit of water and with extra batteries, right? Because he needs to sustain that piece, which is very crucial. And he got to a point where he hit his limit, and he had physically nothing left in the tank. But he's such an important integral role to the overall force, right? So we got to a point where he literally, with desperation in his eyes, he's like, Randy, can you take my rucksack? Like, he was physically depleted.
Yeah.
There was moments where, so I took his radio pack and he took my rucksack, and then to help him out a little bit more, whatever I could take from my rucksack, I put it into his radio pack. So I was like a camel, man. I was like a mule donkey. And this thing was as big as I am. But it enabled him to carry on, so he was right beside me the whole time. So whenever the radio spiked, he was there to respond. But he carried my rucksack, which was considerably lighter. But in order for us to get through that, those things just had happened on the fly. That was not planned. Like, he just literally hit his limit. Dehydrated, muscle cramp, fatigue. Legitimately, he was shutting down. And at that point, and I'm not faulting the guy, like every man has a limit. And man, like, you don't know what you don't know until you're in it, right? And those experiences are so valuable. That being said, he was able to persevere and stay with the fighting force. But there was a moment there, and he would tell you if he was here, that he was combat ineffective, like physically depleted. Yeah, was I happy to take on an extra 40 pounds of gear? No, of course not. But as a team, that's what you do. You help each other out. And, it's a bit humbling too, where one thing that I've been blessed with and very grateful for is I've always been very physically fit. And when this gentleman looked at me, he wouldn't have asked me if he didn't think I could handle it, right? So, and we were in the same subsection at the time, so it just made sense, right? Like when I joined the military, I started to train and work out when I was about 16 years old and started to take training seriously. I didn't really know what I was doing when I went to the gym, but you had lots of people helping me out as I, went from teenager into early 20s. Training was just a part of my lifestyle. When I did basic training, I was awarded most physically fit candidate. When I did infantry school, I was awarded most physically fit candidate. And then for the first 5 years that I was at JTF2, our annual job-specific PT test would get posted. So everybody in the unit, in the assaulter community would see that. And it's good for like positive competition, right?
For sure,
Just healthy competition.
Yeah.
But for the first 5 years, I was always top five with physical fitness. So like, the only reason I say that is I'm not like patting myself on the back, is I felt like as a soldier, the one thing that I can control is my level of physical fitness. Like, for years growing up, I was told, now, you're a good hockey player, but you're too small. Yeah, you're a pretty good, soccer player, but you're too this, you're too that. And I was like, well, I won't have this skill, maybe, but I'll make up for that with physical fitness. Yeah. And I made that like a pride. That was a pride thing. So I think to your point, yes, if you're attached to a tier 1 organization as a supporter and specialist, that is an honor, it's a privilege, but it's also a bit of a burden, because without them, our job becomes more complicated, right? With them, it, exactly as it sounds, it enables us to do our job well. So when supporters and specialists are attached to JTF2, there's an element of pride that's associated with that, where guys don't want to let the team down, right? And they know that, so they'll put in the extra work. And I think for all the supporters and specialists who spend any time at JTF2, if they're paying attention and they're listening, I have nothing but respect for them, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do our job as well as we do. And, you know, the year that I left, 2019, I don't know the exact number, but I'd be confident in saying for every one assaulter, there was probably 6 supporters.
Really?
Yeah. So it takes a lot of people behind the scenes to enable that job and to allow it to happen the way it does. And, you know, for what it's worth, I have nothing but respect and admiration for those folks.